Hey, what's up everybody? So let's talk about Hood, Outlaws and Legends. So for those who don't know, the game just released today on PC if you pre-ordered the game. And unsurprisingly, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Now that isn't to say the game is without its flaws, because it definitely does have a couple, but for the most part, you're getting exactly what they advertise. This is not the type of game where it's just trying to cash grab you. It's not trying to just yoink your wallet out of your pocket. No, you are getting exactly what you get for at a $30 price tag. What the game is advertised as is a 4v4 PvPVE stealth game where you are going to be trying to fight another party of players, trying to find this warden, steal his key, and then find the bounty that is hidden within the map. Now, what this game is offering you at a $30 price tag is pretty simple. You will get the base game and every character. Now, what we do know from the roadmap, in the future, you will be getting characters through, I believe, paid battle passes, or the characters might be added for free later on at a later date, but that is not known as of right now. If you do buy the $50 version, you will get the battle pass for the next year essentially. So it really just depends how badly you want the game, or just how much you're enjoying it at the moment. If you don't buy it, it doesn't really matter. It's only if you really care for the cosmetics, which would be outfits and weapon skins. Aside from that, you will have the 4 base characters that come with the game. You have Robin, who is a ranged sniper. You have the Huntress, who is the melee / stealth class with a triple burst crossbow. This was a class I was playing a ton over on my stream, and I was having a great time with her. She definitely had a bigger emphasis on using the game's inherent mechanic of assassination, which is where if you end up sneaking up on an opponent, this could be a mob or an enemy, you can get an insta-kill execution on them. You have the Brawler, who is your burly man wielding a hammer, able of hyper armoring his way through a lot of attacks and able to guard break people and parry whenever he is guarding. And then lastly, we have the Mystic, who plays more of a supporting role in the game. They have an ultimate that is able to reveal enemies in a small radius and give any only healing tool in the entire game. With that being said, let's talk about the pros of this game. This game, like I mentioned earlier, is exactly what is advertised as. It is a 4v4 stealth heist game, and I'm really happy to say, yes, you actually do have to play this game as stealth. In one of my first matches, I saw a team bum rushing through the objectives, and they were getting caught time and time again by guards, and we had full vision of them the entire game, and we were able to just get spawn point after spawn point and just keep denying them off of pretty much any form of objective throughout the entire game until we essentially stomped them out of the game. So you do have to play this game very stealthily. If you get caught, it is a very big hindrance to your game plan. The characters, as we mentioned with the characters before, they all have their own interesting, unique game plan to them. No two characters really feels like they're playing the same. They all have their own unique perks and abilities to get around the map. And aside from that, every character has traits. You have 3 traits that you could pick from, which each tree having multiple choices to pick from. I think rounding out around 15 traits per character, and this is going to be your main content loop. After every heist, you're going to get experience that is going to be given to yourself and to the town. When you upgrade the town and yourself and your character level, you are going to upgrade the cosmetics and more perks. These perks are going to just kind of change your entire game plan. For example, the Huntress that we mentioned earlier, she has traits that amplify her assassination and her ultimate ability, or you can get traits that amplify your repeating crossbow if you want to play more of a range style. This very much follows true for pretty much every character in the game, and I think it adds a lot of replayability. And speaking of replayability, how much is there? Well, I think there's a good amount. I think this is partially the reason why the game isn't doing a lot of advertising right now, or why it's not trying to oversell itself, because there isn't too much in terms of crazy amounts of replayability if you think about it, but it has very simple replayability. We're taking multiple characters with multiple perks and cosmetics that you have to grind for, and you have 5 maps that are out at the moment. These maps all are vastly different from one another. They range from massive to very tiny, and the way you're going to play every map is very different than one another. Also, in terms of replayability, we have small things like the AI is going to be moving around the map quite a bit. We are going to have things like the Warden, who is the big objective of the map because you have to secure the key from every single game. He has no set spawn, and the same thing happens with the Vault. After you do acquire the key from the Warden, you will see a text box above you stating where the Vault is, but you have no guarantee where exactly it will be from the start of the game. So it does make every match feel unique and fresh and put you into interesting scenarios. And lastly, I think this is going to be a very big pro and con for some people thinking to buy this game. Now, of course, the mobs are good, the combat's good, the AI is good, the gameplay loop feels very good, but one of the things to to point out, as I mentioned, this is a 4v4 game, meaning if you are queuing solo, this is going to be a little bit awkward for you. The reason I'm putting this in the pros section is because the game already comes with features to help alleviate for the solo players. You already have a ping system, and the voice chat system is in game as well, so you can communicate with your teammates. You don't have to use a program like Discord. You can just talk in game, and the voice chat system works just fine. But of course, you know, we all know that playing with random people isn't always going to be the greatest experience. So I definitely do recommend picking up this game if you have a group of friends to play with. If not, and you are the type of person that likes to play solo, or you have 1 or 2 friends you're looking to play with, yeah, it's still a good game to pick up if it's for you. I just feel like this is something that definitely did need to be touched on. Now, what about the cons? Well, after playing this game for quite a bit on stream, I noticed there was a few things that were starting to annoy me. The main one is, since it was the assassination. The assassination didn't feel like it was working properly a lot of the time. It was just kind of, I would walk up to somebody's stealth and I wasn't able to get a Q. You have to be like a set distance from somebody to get it off, and it just would never really work. And if there was another text prompt like vaulting, that would take priority over an assassination, which I really felt like wasn't a thing that needed to happen. There is also another issue with matchmaking. I think this is the biggest gripe I have with the game at the moment. Sometimes we would be thrown into lobbies and a solo player would join and we would just not be able to fill a lobby at all. Now, I'm not sure if this is due to the fact that there wasn't a lot of players queuing up at the skill-based matchmaking that we were in, because we were winning a lot of our matches, or if this was an issue of just the game trying to force solo players into lobbies and they were of the same MMR brackets. It's very hard to tell exactly what the issue was, but we would have sometimes queues of like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We figured out that we could alleviate this later on by just keep constantly re-queuing until we found a lobby, but it was definitely very frustrating, especially during the later hours of the stream. Overall though, I enjoyed the game quite a bit. If this is the type of game you are looking to buy, if you are looking for a fun competitive stealth game, I recommend it. It does have skill-based matchmaking like we mentioned earlier. It doesn't have ranked yet, but they have a good content plan laid out for the year. So I think the company is very excited for the future of the game, and the initial launch seems to be very positive. There's not a whole lot of bugs or issues. There was a couple things we ran into, like a player getting stuck at one point was very funny, but aside from that, the game looks like it might have a very strong grassroots community, and I'm excited to see where it's going to be in the future. I do think there's a couple issues that probably need to be addressed before it is really a fully fleshed game. Like, I think not having ranked is gonna hurt long term, especially in a competitive game. This is the type of game that can get stale in that sense, and I think they have a very solid foundation to build upon for the future, and I'm excited to see where they take this game later on. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna be it for me today, guys. What did you think about Hood? Have you tried it yet? Are you thinking about buying it? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to see what you guys have to say. But yeah, I'm Tom Sorcerer. Love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.